Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion, and also I am very all over the place. I wasn't expecting to do this morning the way it went. It's been an interesting one. So happy Monday, though. I sent an email out on Friday because I noticed a thing going on with our pipeline at work, at my day job thing, whatever you want to call it. And it was essentially that we now have the ability to, am I peaking? Am I maxing out too much? So we have two repositories that are dependent on each other. We have the main application, the one that everyone gets to use that owns this type of product. And that one uses a packages repository, the one that we have all of our core tools and logic and stuff like that in. And so when we make a change to the shared packages in the background, we don't really have a way to rebuild the core application, the main pipeline. So the main pipeline is on the core application, and that gets triggered. Like, we need to run that on our branch before it can get merged. And then after it gets merged, it gets run again. Not two separate pipelines or anything, same one. Anyway, so we make a change to the shared packages. If that change affects the main project, the main core pipeline repository, then we need to make sure that that gets merged first. And then we can run the manual pipeline so that we can do the merge. However, because the pipeline takes about 40 minutes, if we merge the main packages pipeline without doing anything with the changes that are breaking in the main application, this is really hard to do without saying the names of the actual repositories. Then the main repository will just crash for anyone that gets latest main shared packages stuff. So what we have done now is we've allowed for you to choose the packages branch that the main pipeline uses for its build. That way you have changes over here in shared packages, you have your PR ready to go, you have your changes over here in the main application, you have your PR ready to go. You run the pipeline on the main, targeting your branch shared packages thing that finishes building. Both get reviewed. You merge this one, the shared packages one, and then you immediately after merge the main application, I was going to call it master because that's what we call it. The main pipeline then runs on the merged core application and everyone's happy. However, the pipeline seems to fail when you have a companion change in the shared packages repository and in the main application to use those new features. Let's say we added a new property to an interface and implemented it and all that in the shared packages, and we're trying to use it in the main application. That doesn't exist according to the pipeline. I can't find property, whatever your new property is. And so pipeline fails, which is like, what? You're using the latest main shared packages. You're actually building it. What our pipeline does is it goes and it checks out the repository for the latest main for shared packages, builds it, generates NuGet packages, outputs them to a staging folder, or to the working directory, I should say. And then the main application says, all right, I want to use that as my package source. Give me the latest versions of the NuGet shared packages. And for some reason, that version seems to be lagged by one version. So when when I manually built the main application's main with my latest shared packages branch, the one that I made the changes in that broke this one, then the build succeeds. And the thing is that they should both be referring to the same code, because my change was the latest one that went to main in both branches or in both repositories, but I have to specify the branch in order for it to actually build, and I don't get it. So I was discussing that with the team this morning to try to get it figured out, and the person that created the pipeline that created this entire process essentially was also a little bit confused, and we're kind of stuck with that. I mean, we have a way for our pipeline to build on the main core application, but it's not going to happen in an automated way for a while. And by the way, I wasn't the one that started. Like, my changes were the third set of changes that had changes in both the shared packages and the core application that relied on each other. And so we noticed it on the first change that the build was failing. And then I was like, okay, well, this second change from another developer. So first developer made a change and build was failing. Second developer had a change that was pending. They pulled latest master into theirs, or latest main into their branches. Same thing where they have changes in shared packages, changes in core application that depend on those changes. And I'm like, okay, let's just review that, make sure everything works, and then merge it. And that should fix it. Nope, same issue. So I'm like, well, I also have changes in both. So review mine, let's go through it, and let's get it merged. But this time, let's try running the main application on my latest branch. And that built successfully. So, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on there. And I was hoping to provide that information to the person that created the pipeline, the person that knows YAML, the person that has all of the directory.build.props with all of its variables and the interesting way that they are going about versioning everything, to do some research on, because I have other things as well, and this was the thing that they were actively working on. So, I don't know. It essentially turned into, well, let's figure it out together. It's like, or because I'm fairly clueless when it comes to reading the YAML pipeline and understanding the way that they have set up the versioning in the variables. Okay, that's my morning. How's your morning? How's your Monday starting off, or going, or ending, depending on what time it is? Hello, Mojo. I'm moving things around. That goes over on this screen like so. This one over here comes to the foreground. Close a U. I would like for you to give me the financial management tracker over her onto this screen. There is that. Jorgut. Where's Twitch? Twitch is here. So I will lurk on Tim Baudet and Elisha Griffin, and I saw one more. Oh, Bearded Builder. Okay, so I'm a lurking on people's channels. All right, now to chat. Hello, chat. We can go over to the desktop while I read you. Whoa, things look so weird. Oh man, let me know if my audio is doing the limiting or peaking, whatever it's called. But we are doing exactly what Dukasoft just posted in the chat, working on the financial management tracker. We have lately been trying to get the calculator to work as expected. 2 plus 5. The more we press the plus 5, the more we press the equal sign, the more it should continue summing up whatever our previous total was, or our next total is, plus the previous number that we input. So plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. So we're working on that. However, you know me, I am taking this non-work time to research a work-related issue. So on the real quicks, I am also trying to identify an issue that's going on with my screen reader that is preventing me from navigating between items in an expandable card's body. And it is being so duper super weird, and I scratch my head. I'm also confused as to why I am not getting my isolated CSS. There it is. Hello, isolated CSS. We're going to use the CSS variables from this thingy. So I don't care about box shadow. Oh, background color is going to be var card background color, I think. That looks right. Border bottom is going to be var border color, I think. Where is our regular foreground color? But yes, please don't let me take up your ability to talk if you feel like it. However, border color. Oh, there's a card border color. Let's use that. Pew, pew, pew. Okay, what's up with my expander button color? You should be. Do we have a button hover foreground? Oh man, a little laggy today. A little laggy today. Oops. And a button hover foreground color. Oh, button background color. Yeah, we'll get to that. Oh, I did do hover. Oh, wait, that's not what that one is. That one's, you'll see it. We'll get there. Actually, we're there now. So that one is this hover color. So I'm just gonna cheat. RGBA 000.2. Why not? There you go. Card body, yet again, 0, 0, 0. Too lazy. I will flip you. 250, 250, 250. Very faint hover. There. Something in the way she moves. Ooh, excuse me. My on click is in the wrong place. You there. On click does not belong here. It belongs in the header. click in the header, you can expand collapse. I still need my button color to be my normal button color. Where's my dot expander? There you are. Color is going to be current color, please. Thank you. Okay, so we have an expandable card, and we have items that are showing up in a row kind of way. And what's happening is, as I am using a screen reader, at least in the in my app that I'm working on, the screen reader is getting stuck on one row of data. And what I expect it to do is read this row, and then I use the screen reader advance to the next element, this row, and this row. So what I mean by that, by the screen reader advance to next element, narrator, screen reader key. Are you the one I'm looking for? Yes, you are. Okay, so by default, the screen reader key is the caps lock or insert key. And so you can issue commands by pressing the screen reader key, the narrator key, I guess this thing is calling it, and right arrow to go to the next item, left arrow to go to the previous item, and then you have a couple of different views. You have narrator key plus. My favorites are F5 and F6 and F7. You can change the voice, change the speed. Ooh, thank you so much for the follow. Where are we at? That a mic? Is that a mic? Theta mic? No, theta is spelled with an E. Anyway, hello Mike, 123. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate that. We are going through a quick issue that I'm experiencing that I want to debug for my work product, but normally we'd be working on the financial management tracker project, which Dukasoft recently posted and posted again. Thank you so much. Or no, not posted again. It's just the most recent message, which you can find on GitHub. It is open source. It is a project where we are showing full stack Blazor development, cross-platform or multi-platform, whatever you want to call it, development using Blazor for the UI. And yeah, it is an app that is intended for you to be able to use to track your finances. I'm going to add a little bit of padding around this. Div research page. We'll make that 90. No class. No class. You get no class. Oh, I hate it when I do that. So the one thing about using Control-X to delete an entire row is if it happens to be a closing tag, it'll delete the nearest opening tag's text. Ugh, kind of annoying. Well, that's fine. It's fine. Nobody cares. All right, hash research page, and also I am using SAS, if you could not tell. And the thing that I want to do for research page is give it a padding. Ooh, another follow. Artrade. Hello. Thank you so much for the follow. Just keep trying until I fail. It'll be fine. All right, so we put a padding around this whole thing so that I can see the edges just because I feel like it. Dang it. I just tried to save it. All right, so let me see if I can show the issue. I'm going to need to turn this audio source down because I believe you will hear the narrator on the stream. You do. Except it is super duper low, so that's good. The blue box tells you what the narrator is currently reading for us. And yeah, I will turn it up just a little bit.
Slider 4 desktop audio 2 : slider.
I really let me know if this gives you too much anxiety.
Stop chat window 1 lion chat Twitch stream chat region landmark.
As I'm over here. We're over here. Oh.
Financial management Google Chrome Umberto.
Okay,
First
here we go.
user pane. First expandable
Umberto.
card button. First expandable card region landmark. 74 volume level.
Thank you. I turned my headphones up. Okay, so it knows the card on the page. So what that means is if I push narrator key F5,
Search landmarks window, search list.
I hate that it opens over there. You can hear it though. It sees the card
region 3 of 4
as a region that I can jump to.
Financial management Google Chrome Umberto.
That's cool.
First user pane.
There is an issue though.
Search landmarks
Hey,
window,
can I
search
screenshot this?
New notification
I
from
can.
Dropbox. Screenshot added. A screenshot was added to your Dropbox. One
Thank
of
you.
one window.
Okay, so the issue is you'll hear
First expandable card region 3 of 4 selected.
3 of 4. You know what the fourth one is?
First expandable card region 4 of 4 selected.
The same thing, and that's because I have a nested region and I really shouldn't. So I need to fix that. Hello, Roy Seeley. I said I wasn't going to screw up your name. Roy Lisi. Hello. Ooh, I am sweating. No, let's not be too warm. We're okay. Beautiful. Don't worry. I'm silly now. You go by silly? Or do you pronounce it Seely? Any never nesters? What is a never nester? Is that someone who just avoids nesting things like the plague?
Financial management Google Chrome Umberto.
Okay, let's see if we can reproduce the issue that I am experiencing. The issue that I'm experiencing is when I move to the next item, it should be the first row of data. It's going to move me to the card body because I think that's the thing that I have listed as a region and I shouldn't.
First expandable card region landmark.
Yep. Okay, so I know that my card body needs to not be a region. That's a thing. The voice thing is the screen reader. It's Windows narrator. And I'm trying to fix an issue where narrator is getting stuck. So my next thing is I move to the next element.
Item 1 value 1 row.
It does my row and it reads it off as item 1, the row header, value 1, the row value, grid cell I think I called it. But what I think it does in the web is it goes to each individual cell.
Item 1 row header. Value 1.
Yeah. So I think maybe if I make those ARIA hidden, that'll be fine. We'll test that out.
Item 2 value
And then it
2
does move
row.
to the next one. So what's been happening is in the app, my desktop app, I am
Item
moving to the
value
next
1.
item and then it would get stuck here. I wouldn't be able to move
Item
forward
2
anymore.
value- Item 3 value
Okay,
3.
so let's fix a couple
exiting
things.
narrator.
Never nesting was one of those hot takes that some dev bloggers had. I'm just memeing though. Yeah, so the application that I work on for my day job, it is shipped through the Windows Store, and you must meet certain accessibility requirements to have your app in the Windows Store. And I have everything working the way that I want, except for these cards breaking. So one thing I want to change real quick before I forget is to tell the card body to not be a region. Are you going to need me to rebuild for that? Nope. Hot reload applied. Card body is no longer a region. So what does that look like to you? So I love this tool here. So now we don't have a nested region. Awesome. I'm happy about that. Where are my notes? Okay, one thing I need to do is remove region from card body for expandable cards. Okay. How do I reproduce this though? This is exactly the same accessibility tree that I see in my app. Hello, Nightlight. I want to verify that though. I don't want to just say that and be lying. Oh, right. I guess I should send out the manual announcement in Discord because I forgot that we don't have a working announcer. Lion lives live on Twitch. Okay, application. That's going to take a minute before it loads. It is going really well. Thank you for asking. Or Agoining is doing it. So the way Agoining works, I'm not Irish John Games. I can't do this. I can't make up things on the spot like that. Still super duper impressed by that. Hello, Bob Ross. I was just thinking about you the other day. Actually, it was this morning. I woke up and I was like, I can't remember what came up, but there was something to do. Oh, it was an art stream. Like on Twitch, they have Bob Ross art going like 24/7 or something. Arouse. Avert your eyes if you don't like seeing people that make weird stuff though. There's a lot of weird stuff. No, apparently it's only first thing in the morning. Bob Ross. So anyway, they have Bob Ross stuff going on. And then I was like, I haven't seen our Bob Ross, the one that just chatted, in a while. So hope you're doing well, Bob Rosso. Run, please. Well, I mean, I definitely see it first thing in the morning. I wake up at 4:30 Mountain Time. Or that's what time I'm at my computer. And then I watch art streams and until developers come online, and then I start switching over to watching developers. People are creative and amazing, man. Yeah, my stream schedule is pretty inconvenient for a few people now that it's changed. So I apologize for that. I am not faulting you for not being here. I was just saying it's nice to see you. Okay, so F12 in my app, my accessibility tree for this card. Oops, that's the header card. This card here will be row item 1, value 1. Expand that. Row header, read only required false. Grid cell. Yep. So my structure looks exactly like this. So maybe it's because it's running in a WPF, Blazor Web View Control, that this is happening. So we are going to investigate. That means running the app as WPF. Not your fault, good fellow. It's Christopher Columbus's fault. He invented time zones, right? I have no idea. Are you suddenly from Uptown? Okay, so this is the same app. Oh, I have no way of getting to the research page in the main app. Where is my top bar? Top bar, top bar, top bar, top bar. There's my calculator. Anchor, href, research. Dude. There we go. Now we can get to the research page. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. Okay. So what does this one look like? Nossa. Why are you not turned on? Region. Bunch of rows. Row header. Grid cell. Yes, looks the same to me. And when we try screen reader, this is not going to be my voice. Oh, I will answer you, Mike. Give me a sec. Let me just hear what this thing does. Oh, you can't even hear it. Anyway, so it is at the expander button.
First item.
Oh, there it goes.
Expandable card button expanded.
Cool.
Item 1 value 1.
Jump straight to the item. And there it is. So I am pressing the narrator key next.
Item 1 value
and I'm
1.
stuck. Versus in the same UI, the exact same markup that's being used in the WPF app,
item 1 value 1.
I'm at item 1 value 1, and then I push narrator right, and I hop into it.
Value 1. Item 2 value 2.
And then I can get to item 2. So that's what I'm investigating right now. That's what we're going to figure out. So, Blazor is a thing that you wear. Or, actually, are those also spelled with an O? No, I think those are spelled with an E. Blazor with an O, though, is a UI framework, not web. It is a UI framework. So you can make UI for any target, provided it can handle rendering HTML for your UI. So what you see here is a WPF application that has a Blazor web view control with a Razor component engine that knows how to turn your Blazor code markup into HTML and then display that HTML as this document that you see. Maui is an entire application type that allows you to take that same, or you don't even have to use Blazor with Maui. It is a way for you to target multiple platforms. So you can target Windows, iOS, Mac, Tizen, Android with your one application. The cool thing about it is if you're using XAML controls, if you're using XAML to do your UI, what it will do is it will replace, for example, common elements like buttons with the target platform's implementation of that button. So you want a native iOS button when you're on an on an Apple, on an iOS, and you want a native Android button when you're on an Android, then you use one XAML element. I haven't really used it, so but you use one XAML element called, I don't know, button or button stub or button whatever it's called, and then the platform itself will provide the button implementation. So it'll behave the way that that device expects buttons to look and feel. Or you can do what I do, which is use Blazor for everything, and instead just put a Blazor web view control, and that will take whatever Blazor markup you have. It could be in one component. It could be an entire application. That's what this one is. and display that in the UI. So that's how I'm able to have a WPF application using the same UI, a MAUI application, which means Android, iOS, ties in Mac and Windows, using the same UI, and a web application, both Blazor WebAssembly and Blazor Server, using the same UI. And then in the future, whatever Blazor United is actually called, Blazor Web Project, Blazor, whatever. But yeah, so think of Blazor as just a way for you to be able to write HTML and C# markup, and maybe JavaScript if you need it, with CSS to do your UI. Blazor is just for UI presentation. And, you know, some hookups, like passing in state classes, injecting things, and Linux. So I haven't heard talk about Linux, so I didn't say anything about Linux. I'm assuming that you could target Linux because I don't know. But because you can target Android, obviously. So yeah, hopefully that answers. Hopefully that helps. Why are you expanded? Okay. So I think I was able to show the replication of the issue that I am experiencing, which is when narrator, Windows narrator specifically, is turned on. Max is here, and he had enough points. How's it going, Max? Why didn't you turn on narrator? I think I broke narrator. Narrator? Narrator's gun shy now.
A.
Oh,
Suggestions
it's on.
available. Narrator app. Press right to switch preview.
Hush
Main
you.
window. WPF Blazor.
Main window.
Close.
Oh my goodness.
DevTools 0. Main window. Main header. But
Okay.
first
Okay, here we go.
expandable card.
So we are on the first expandable card. And we are on
first expandable card button
expander button.
expanded. First expandable card button collapsed.
Yes.
First expandable card button expanded.
And because it's expanded, you expect there to be something now showing that wasn't before. So imagine being a user without sight and just hearing that, then now you know
first expandable card
the card that I am on
first expandable
is
card
expanded
button
or collapsed,
expanded.
which means that it is an expandable card. Hopefully that's the point that gets across.
Item 1 value 1.
And so this is the first row of information. Item 1 value 1. And then I am stuck. So I'm pushing the same button I'm using to navigate around to go to the next element, and it's not going anywhere. In the web version,
image. First expandable card, region landmark. First expandable card button, item 1 value 1, row.
And this is the behavior that I'm expecting.
Item 1, row, value 1. Item 2 value.
And actually, I am
row,
kind of curious.
Element, styles panel, hashtag.
Hush for a second. What happens if? Here we are. What happens if I make the item names aria hidden will it still use them as my label for that row, but not navigate to each of them? Oops, I just turned it off. Dang it. There we go.
First expandable card, region landmark.
Oh, okay. So Max is saying, finally, I had enough points to play the what's up. I've got sad news. I've tried programming Snake on my own without any help, and help. You suddenly got a country accent there, Max. Anyway, without any help, I failed. That's not sad news, though.
I got a bad feeling about this
too. I wouldn't call that a sad news, unless that made you give up and quit and just rage quit and be like, I'm never going to do software development again. Then I would be sad. I wouldn't be like disappointed in you or anything. I would just be sad because I like encouraging people to be developers and persist through it. Through the
First
pains.
expandable card.
Anyway, what happens?
Item 1 value 1 row.
It does read that,
Item 2
and then it
value
goes straight to
2,
the next
row.
one. Okay, so I definitely want to keep that.
Exiting narrator.
But I need this behavior to happen in the WPF version. Make the grid header and not grid header, row header and grid cell aria hidden true. Perfect. I'd say that it's good that you've tried and it shows what you need to learn. Absolutely. Agree with you. Okay, so I think I've already improved the narrator experience with this a little bit just by doing those small changes. Now, the main thing is getting it to work as expected. So how do I search for something like this? Because I'm using HTML markup.
OBS 2.9 main window window.
Okay, I'm using
WPF Blazor web content. WPF Blazor.
I'm rendering HTML and I'm using a screen reader, and it works when I run that HTML in a browser, but not when I run it in a WPF app inside of a Blazor Web View control. It's so specific too.
No
Wait.
next item. Item
Wait.
1 value 1. First item 4 value 4.
Wait, what? That just worked. What did that just worked? The only other thing that I did was I made the grid, the row header and the grid cell aria hidden. I'm going to try that real quick.
Exiting narrator.
Excuse me. For this thing here. Ow. That was loud. For you and you, if I turn you to aria hidden, true, and I'm going to go ahead and restart the app too. Ow. Okay, so while I'm rerunning that, so Max responded and I just gave up on my own mind and just watched the tutorial from JavaScript series. Yeah, so again, the way that it works for me, and this might work for you, and if it doesn't, then just ignore the advice completely. I don't want to push anything on you that doesn't work for you or is just a waste of time, is I will do the tutorial, or first I'll watch the tutorial. Like if I'm going to be serious about learning a thing, I will watch a tutorial beginning to end and not do anything. Just watch it. See what they do. Aww. I love cats. See what they do. Then I will do it along with them with the tutorial. So I like to watch tutorials. If it was a written tutorial, I would read it top to bottom. And then the next time through, I would actually participate and do the stuff. Then the third time, The third time I do it, I will try to do it by myself without referencing the tutorial, but still heading back to it as I need. And then I keep iterating through that until I don't need to use the tutorial at all to reproduce the thing that they were having me make during the tutorial. Lastly, I try to make changes using the knowledge that I have. So let's say I was just learning MVC or something, or just learning Blazor. I would follow along with Blazor tutorial, beginning to end, until I can do it by myself, and then I would try to add to it. I'd try to add UI components. I'd try to make buttons do different things. I'd try to change styles on stuff. And that typically helps it to just... Yes, right, I see. Blazor. I'm learning how to make jackets. No, Blazor. Blazor, you know, like Razor, but for browsers. Anyway. Okay, so we're good though. If this works, I am a genius. No. If this works in my app, then I have just solved the thing that I was stuck on for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Be careful or you might get some JavaScript. Oh, I do have JavaScript in my app. I'm not afraid to use it. I just prefer not to. It works! Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, we're thank you for the lurk, Nightlight. Now that I've gotten that figured out, all it took, gosh, I have no idea. Oh, cool. I will be happy to show you releasing. So this is HTML markup, what you see on the screen. And I had some accessibility features. And right now what I was messing with is a card that I want the screen reader so that a person with limited sight or no sight at all would have a similar experience as a person that is sighted, would be able to navigate. So I have a whole bunch of these expandable cards on the page. They'd be able to navigate to these cards, know where they are, just by seeing the overview. Do I still have that in my clipboard? Paint. Where are you, Paint? Pasta? Clipboard doesn't contain an image, so no, I don't have it. So anyway, what a lot of people who use screen readers do is when they first visit a site or an application that they are unfamiliar with, is they look for landmarks or they use the headings to find out, what does this site look like? Where can I go on this site? And that should highlight the main landmarks, the main navigation points on the page. So I have a page that shows a bunch of system information in cards, and so the screen reader user can jump to any one of those cards, expand or collapse it, hopefully expand, and then navigate to each item within that section to know, all right, my GPU fan speed is whatever, my GPU temperature is whatever, my CPU fan speed is whatever, my CPU temperature is whatever. I have 3 fans and whatever. Anyway, so now I can do that because it no longer gets stuck at this first item. And the way that I did that is because each of these rows is just a pair of divs wrapped in another div. Div soup, anyone? The outer div is a flex. Okay, so here is a row with 2 divs nested inside of it. So a div row that has a roll of row. And then the two divs inside of it are the thing that I'm using for the screen reader to read out loud. So it'll read the row header first and then the value. So let's say that item 1 was GPU temperature, value was 68 degrees Celsius. That kind of thing. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm so happy with that. Yeah, and then the issue was it was getting stuck. So I set these two things to ARIA hidden, which means the screen reader will not see them individually, but it is labeling the row. So the screen reader will stop on the row, read out item 1, value 1, move to the next row, item 1, value 1. Oh, so good. So happy. So dude. All right. Now let's do some undo. So Roy Lisi has never seen Blazor before. In use or just at all? Like, have you heard of Blazor? And hello, Disco. At all. Not even heard of it. Okay. Have you heard of .NET Razor markup? So if you have an MVC application or an ASP.NET Pages application, it's the .cshtml files. Excuse me, hiccups. I'm trying to delete stuff. Top bar. Top bar? Why is it so hard for me to find top bar? Oh, anyway, so the .cshtml files in an ASP.NET Razor Pages application or an MVC application are ways for you to write HTML markup with C# code inside of it. The difference is that, or between that and Blazor, is that the content inside of these .cshtml pages or even partials is rendered on the server and served as HTML content to the client, which is usually a browser. When that happens, any of your C# variables are evaluated, and then the only thing it spits out is HTML. With Blazor, you write in the similar C# and HTML mixed content, but if you want to do something in C#, like handle a button click, you can do that by using this syntax with the @onClick or @some event. And you write C# code for what to do with that button click. Also, not only is the content rendered into HTML and then either, if it's server rendered to HTML and then sent to the client, but anytime you make a change to a small part of the page by a button click, by updating a C# variable, you can see that happen immediately. So you can output a value, you can change the Boolean value with an if statement that says if this thing is true or false, then show or don't show a thing. Whereas with .cshtml, you would need to send the request to the server. Server reevaluates your entire CSHTML file, generates new HTML, sends that back to the client with a page refresh. Whereas Blazor just changes the one small part of the UI that's being affected. So let me show you what that looks like. Let's go to the main page of this app. Oh, that's main layout. Nice try. What is it called? Index. What do you know? My main page is called Index. Okay, so in my index page, once it... Oh. I know there's nothing at this address. This main index page here is HTML, and then anytime that you see the @ symbol, you know that I'm switching to C#. So I have this thing called a localizer. This is just built in. You make a .resx file, you tell it to turn on code generation, and then you get this static class back with ways to access localized content. So I have a title that currently says manage your financials. If I changed languages and had a translation of this in that language, I would get back that language. So that's just one usage of a C# variable in my UI. But this is not a dynamic thing at the moment. It's just kind of static. It's sitting there. I don't have a way to change languages, so you can't see me do anything with that. I have these things that look like HTML elements, but you can see that they follow C# naming conventions with Pascal casing. They're a different color. And if I F12 on it, they take me to a file, F12 being go to definition. They take me to a file that contains the HTML and C# markup for it, which can include child of the same type. And those things are called components. And so if you've ever used a JavaScript framework, typically those are made up of componentized UI elements that have JavaScript code that render to HTML. And it controls it using JavaScript. So let's go to a more interesting page. On my data entry page, I have this top thing that is my navigation tab bar. So really this should be role navigation. Actually, no, it is tabs because these are tab pages. But anyway, what you will notice is if I wanted to do anything with this using .NET originally, like CSHTML stuff, then anytime that I click on one of these, I would either use JavaScript to go to the server and fetch a partial, and then render that partial into a div with some ID using JavaScript, or do an entire post back by doing a page navigation to the page with these variables set where I want to display the deposits tab. But instead of using JavaScript to control this and AJAX calls, instead I have Razor syntax that is running in the browser. So this is C# running in my browser, that when I click on an event that changes the content, watch inside of my DOM, or this page content here, then the only thing I updated were the things that flashed. I guess you can see all this stuff flash too. So it didn't refresh the entire page, it didn't wipe everything out, it just changed those parts of my document that needed to change. My account summary didn't change, so it didn't need to re-render that. My transaction history table didn't change, so it didn't need to re-render that. It only needed to render the content for the active tab, as well as the tab button itself. So right now, yeah, there we go. You can see this active class is moving around. So it went from here to here, and that's controlled again in C#, not JavaScript. So the joys of using it are not needing to use JavaScript to control your UI, and being able to write native C# code to do all of your UI related stuff. Another one is being able to use this exact same UI library in multiple application types. For example, MAUI, WPF, Blazor Server, Blazor WebAssembly, which is these two together. And if you architect your project the right way, then you have separation of concerns where all of your client-side stuff The stuff that can happen on the client side is in its own library. The stuff that can only happen on the server, like accessing your database or file system or whatever, is in the server class library. And then anything that's shared between both client and server is in a shared library. So some really cool things that you can do with it. You can use dependency injection to share state across the app. Yes. Fun stuff. And we have made use of all of those in this project. But yeah, Releasey says, I understand. I've seen this type of dynamic updates on other stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So again, if you have used Ajax, for example, then you know about fetching data, getting it back, and then updating a HTML element using JavaScript. If you've used JavaScript frameworks, then you know about displaying and hiding UI elements using flow conditions. So flow control, whatever it's called, using if statements, and displaying and hiding class elements, changing the class list based on some variables that you're keeping track of in JavaScript or TypeScript that eventually gets turned into JavaScript. So anyway, that's what we're doing. We finished the core functionality of the application. So the application itself is an application that allows a user to manually enter financial transactions. That's why it's called the financial management application. So you tell the application which financial accounts you want to track manually. There is no connection to the financial institution. And then for each of those accounts, you can enter payments, things that you have purchased from that account and paid to some external thing that you aren't tracking. Deposits, something that you've gotten money from an external source, and like a paycheck, for example, and it's going into one of your tracked accounts, or transfers, which is money going from one tracked account to another tracked account kind of stuff. So those are your 3 types of transactions that you can manually track in the application. When you add a transaction, it shows up in your transaction history table. And it also updates your summaries. So your current balance, any pending balance, and then the adjusted amount is your current balance minus pending, or plus your pending. So we finished that. And as you can see, the UI could use some work. So that is another thing that we'll be doing shortly. However, we took an aside and started playing with this calculator that originally was written in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript by none other than Max, Purple Dragon, up there in chat. And we adapted it to Blazor, rewriting the logic so it was complete and working the way as expected. So in doing so, we started doing it via test-driven development. It was a journey getting there, but we did eventually scrap everything we did. Got some tests from Peter, live coding. Thank you so much for these. And followed the patterns for writing our test and implementing the method so that the test would pass. And so right now we are stuck on pressing the equal sign consecutive times. Pressing the equal sign consecutive times is currently failing, and so we are trying to make it turn green. So let's run the test and see that happen. What? And so all of the tests were passing. You saw them, they were all green until I just now pushed the play button. Until a recent change that I made on Wednesday, no less. Actually, no, I was doing some mindless changes while we were talking on Friday. So Fridays on our channel, we have Community Day where we have members of the community hop into a Discord voice channel and we just discuss things. And so on Friday, there were 3 other people in a voice channel, maybe 4 at some point, and they were having a great discussion and I didn't have much to contribute to it. So I just continued working on this. Thank you so much for that, Dukasoft. If you're interested in joining our Discord, no pressure whatsoever, but we do have a fantastic community of people that are happy to help with any situations you run into, happy to receive help from you if you're knowledgeable in things that they're asking about, and just overall cool people, amazing people. But that is also how you can participate using your voice on Community Day Fridays. But you're always welcome if you want to still participate in Community Day using just chat. Okay. Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay, so these are good. Why are all of my tests failing now? I was in the Discord, don't know where it is now. You're probably, well, everyone gets welcomed, typically. I don't even know where my Discord is. So most likely showed up in the general channel and many people waved to you. I do remember you coming in though. I remember waving and I think you may have even spoken more than 2 words. But again, there's absolutely no pressure to. So even if you do happen to join the Discord server, you don't have to say anything. You could just read everyone else's stuff. You shouldn't have gotten kicked. Is it the same name? Are you under the same name? I don't kick people. I don't kick people. Anyway. Okay, so let's figure out why all of my tests. King Lisi. Wait, before you join again, let me look through my list. Jay. Yeah, you're not in the list of people in the stream. People in Discord, whatever. Okay, so yes, I think, but you're not banned. Promise, you are not banned. I don't even know how to check for that to verify. Server settings. Roles? Moderation. Hello? Bans. Okay, there is only one person banned from my stream. in my Discord. And hello. Yeah, that's so weird. It's so weird. Wait, you said King Lisi, but your actual name is showing up as just Lisi. Because you said I'm Lisi now. Oh, I guess I should remember that. Hold my beer.
Are you able to cease thinking on command?
I think so. Would you like to see? I think it worked. I couldn't tell because I wasn't thinking, so you'll tell me if there was like a moment of time when I just checked out. I think it worked though. What is happening? I would like to buy a vowel. All right, we're going to debug this using the WP app. WWPF B2 plus opt to use is the operator that we just clicked is the add sign. We are not submitting, therefore we should use previous operator, but there was no previous operator, so we are going to use null. If opt to use has value, which it doesn't, and the current calculated value has value, which it doesn't, then we skip over all that. If the operator is not the submit button, which it is not the submit button, therefore we set our active operator equal to the operator that we just clicked or selected. The current value is going to be the number that we just typed, or input. Input is the word I'm looking for. And our formula output is going to be the current calculated value plus the operator we just typed. And so now we have 2 plus is our formula output. Good, good. And our previous operator, the one that we clicked last, is op. Apps. Continue. All right, now what happens if we push, for example, 5, followed by the submit operator? So opt to use, since op is submit, we're going to use the active operator, which is currently the add. Otherwise, we would use the previous operator. And there's a reason that we are using active operator instead of always using previous operator. I'm sure there is. Since opt to use has value and we have a current calculated value, then the value that we're going to use, I am never setting this. Okay, so last value is decimal, calculated value is decimal quotation mark. I mean decimal question mark. Okay, so that's one issue. Let's see what all that fixes. So this is in the midst of getting the multiple equal signs to work. Okay, we fixed a few of them, but not all of them. Hello, Scott. I mean, Docs. Who said yours? I mean, sir. Sriff. It's hard to say first backwards. Anyway. Sorry for big slurring. There is no issue here, and I'm sure that Dukasoft isn't holding it against you. Yeah, so that would work if I didn't break this. So, and the reason that one works is because when I do 2, and then I do the plus, and then I do 2, and then I do another operator, it will do the previous calculation, which is 2 plus 2. And so the next operator will be the active operator, and then another 2 on top of that would be 4 times 2, which is 8. So I don't have any way to do grouping. And you aren't doing let's accumulate our operations up until the point we hit the submit button. And that's because we are modeling, we're following the model of the Windows calculator. Oops, times 2. Hello, Napalm. Hello, Napalm. Hello, Napalm. Okay, so we need to figure out what's going on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for every pairing of digits or of sections, you are putting parentheses around all of it. Yeah, because again, it's following the same logic where when you push an operator button, it checks to see, do we already have some previous value? So I'm going to push the multiplication. And so we had a 2 plus in our what we're going to do. And then the 2 was the next input number. And then I pushed the next operator. And that operator said, okay, we are now going to do the previous calculation. And the value from that is going to be the thing that I'm going to use the next operator with the next input number. However, you can keep changing the operator until you dirty your input again. Yeah, a lot of people do, Tyron. A lot of people do. But we're going to go ahead and use this because I plan on making it easy to use 10 key for. And I'm not familiar with using digit, enter, digit, operator. Yeah. Yeah, it might. I don't know. Which calculator do I have? I have a Samsung, so I don't know if their built-in calculator, not built-in, the calculator that it ships with is... No, why would a calculator need to do notifications? Yeah, no, that's not the calculator that came with the phone. That needs to get uninstalled. Clarksville. Uninstall. Let's try this calculator. 2 plus 2 times... Yeah, okay. So this is another one that I was thinking of doing, but you see how it is accumulating all of the operations until you push the submit button. And then when you push the submit button, that's when it performs the calculations, and it does it using order of operations. And there's a button for grouping as well. So you can define your own groups. I don't want to get that fancy. I just want to input number operator, number operator will do that operation, number operator. Keep doing that until I hit the equal sign, similar to Windows calculator. So 2 plus, we already know that the first one works, 4. Okay, so I just pushed the submit operator. So we're going to do an add. The value that we're going to use is the last value. Oh. Okay. Okay. Dang it. Whoa. Do I know how to read that? Je, das gut. I mean, if you're relying on a calculator to do order of operation, you probably shouldn't be doing math stuff unless it's a super complex problem. Yeah. So like here, all that I'm really needing an in-app calculator for is so I don't have to open the Windows calculator, but really like our Taco Bell will do this thing where they have a discount. Like if you earn rewards and then you buy something using your reward points, like let's say they say that my subtotal is 1726. Then the next line will be discount of minus whatever the amount is. However, the real subtotal was 1726 plus the discount, and then the next line item is the discount that gets taken off, and then the tax is calculated off of the subtotal, the new subtotal with the discount, which is 1726, and then that's the total. And most of the time I could do it in my head, but there are just some days when I'm like, I really don't want to do that. So I just pull up the Windows calculator. And the one issue that's been happening with this computer, or actually all of my computers, maybe it's just this keyboard, is when I push the calculator, it doesn't put the focus on the calculator. It keeps the focus on whatever other thing I was working on. And it's like, then I have to Alt-Tab, and it's usually the last thing, and I don't realize it's the last thing until I've Alt-Tabbed for 6 minutes trying to find it. I do! I have a calculator button right here. What in the... Yeah, the thing that's weird about this keyboard is it doesn't have pause break. Over here is where I would expect them to be. Pause break, screen print, and sorry, I think it's insert. Screen print, pause break. No, it's not. Scroll lock. Scroll lock is what I'm looking for. So pause break, scroll lock, and screen print. I don't have those. Like scroll lock for me, I have to hold down function and push this button, which is the context menu button. This is my screen print, which is nice. And then I have a calculator button, but I don't have a pause break. But it's a programmable keyboard, so I could change any of my function keys to do anything else except for pause break. And I would really, really like a pause break button, because when I accidentally push Control Shift B to build all. I'm like, wait, I'm not ready to build. So I want to push control break to stop the build, but I don't have that button. So I have to find the build menu, go down to cancel build. And anyway, hello, President Usher. President Usher says, I have one of those on a keyboard too. What's sysrec? I don't know what sysrec is. That was an old key. Okay. So my main issues are not diagnosable by a psychologist. Wait, maybe they are. I don't know. What do you guys think? They're not answering me. Okay, so the value to use needs to be updated if my previous operator was equals. Okay, so if we are pushing submit and the previous operator was also submit, that's when we use the last value. Otherwise, we use the number that we just input. Okay, I think that logic is correct for at least fixing the existing tests. Let's find out. Ooh, I'm running all the tests. Control break. Oh, wait, I don't have a break key. Not only did that fix little bug. Not only did that fix the issues that I was having. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but at least you have a pause break key. I don't even have that, nor the ability to program my key as pause break. There's a lot I can do with this keyboard. Logi options plus. So like right now in Visual Studio, if I push because I have a habit of accidentally pushing the lock key on accident, but now if I push it in Visual Studio, it's build all. If I push it in a browser, it's refresh all. Like, you know, Control Shift R. If I push it in Notepad, it's save, I think. It's do nothing most of the time. In any of my browsers, it's Control Shift R. In Visual Studio, Control Shift B. In Notepad, Control Shift S for save all. It's nice, except the support for it sucks. I am going to openly rant and complain about the support service I got for it. I have another one. Right here. The A key got a little bit loose, and so did the E key. You can see the E key is a different color. Got a little bit loose, so it started sticking. So I picked up the E key and I already threw away the E key. And found that the plastic clips on the back of the E key, one of them had broken off. So I needed a replacement E key. So I went to Logitech's website, and they don't sell spare parts for this keyboard, including keycaps. Where's the any key? It's on there. So I found a hella expensive third-party vendor because this keyboard costs 100 and something bucks. So I found a third-party vendor. Oh, I love my Logitech stuff. I just hated the service, by the way. A Logitech iPad keyboard? Oh, that's what, yeah, never mind. I get it. I was like, Logitech iPad, those are two different brands. So anyway, I found another website which I'm not going to advertise because why anyway, where they did have the keycaps, and I searched the internet. I searched all of the internet. I exhausted all of my resource. In fact, by the time I finished, I believe I had seen every part of the internet there is to see. And I didn't find anyone else that sold Logitech keycaps for the MX Keys keyboard. That said, that site sold one keycap for $15, and I'm like, $15 is still less than $106 for a new keyboard, so I'll get that. It'll be fine. In the meantime, while I was waiting for the E key to come, I took my insert key and I used it for my E key. Everything was good. And then my A key started sticking and being flimsy. And I'm like, okay, I know how to fix this. I'll just steal another key from another part of the keyboard. I won't even worry about it because it's not an issue. And when I took the A key off, I noticed that the little plastic clips were all intact. It was holding on to the plastic bracer thing just fine. And the metal prongs that are on the keyboard, that are soldered to the keyboard, were just a little bit bent. Not too much, just a little bit. So I'm like, oh, that's easy. I'll just bend them back in place. And being someone that does not do very good with the physical world, I really shouldn't have tried to do that. By the way, the keyboard was already out of warranty at this point in time. So it's not like anything that I did would void a warranty because they didn't cover it. And they wouldn't have done anything about it anyway. Not pulled, pushed. So I took this thingy here, a nice little flathead screwdriver, and I pushed on it ever so slightly. And I think maybe it was a training session with Rolk where I'm like, all right, just bend this slightly, don't push too hard. And his slightly push went straight through, and so now the metal clip is broken off. And if I knew how to solder, sure, that would probably be an easy job, but tiny parts, physical stuff, heat near electronic device, all of the main things that could go wrong. So I finally yes. So I finally called Logitech, or chatted with them, calling people, and the technician was like, I wasn't expecting the best service, but you know how it does the thing where the bot talks you through some things and then eventually says, I will connect you with a live agent. So that happened. The chat window, after waiting for about 20 minutes for a live agent, the chat window says, live agent blah has joined the chat. And then 5 minutes pass, and then they say hello. And that's it, just hello. Hello, Umberto. And I say hello back. Another 5 minutes pass. And then I'm like, so I don't know if you saw the ticket details, but I accidentally damaged my keyboard, the A key, and was wondering if you had a replacement part or if there was a way for me to send the keyboard in, pay for an extended warranty, whatever. I'm like, no, we don't have replacement parts for that. Essentially what you're going to have to do is buy a new keyboard. And I'm like, it's just the A key. Why do I have to buy a $106 keyboard just because my A key is no longer there? So I'm like, screw it. Whatever. Say whatever you want. Eventually they gave me a 60% discount or something like that on the keyboard. Yeah. Throwaway society, exactly. That's why I'm not throwing away the keyboard. First of all, if I'm able to fix it, that's nice. Second, now I have an entire set of keycaps, replacement keycaps, if the keycaps on this keyboard ever go bad. Ugh. And a lithium battery. But yeah, it was a really nice discount. So I will say that was cool, but still the answer for one key that got damaged and it's the bracing, not the actual key itself. The thing that holds the key in place getting damaged is buy a new keyboard. And I'm like, and then more stuff happened. When I got this keyboard, I thought that I could use the same unifying dongle, but they created a new dongle called the Bolt Receiver, which uses the latest Bluetooth technology or whatever. I don't know what the difference really is, but it's not compatible with the unifying dongle. And so now I have an extra USB slot taken up for my 2 Logitech devices, and it's like, why? Oh. And I have another computer that I use this with that I needed to pair it using Bluetooth because it doesn't work with the dongle, and I don't have a second Bolt receiver, which probably goes for $30. Right mouse on left side of keyboard. What's going on? It's not my fault, Gigasoft. It's the software. Blame them. So anyway, that's my rant about that. Exactly. Like it wouldn't matter now if I had to buy a new mouse because that only works with Bolt receiver, because now I have the Bolt receiver dongle that would give me 2 Bolt receivers, one for that computer, one for this computer. But yeah, we hope the video is mirrored. You can hope all you want. It won't make it true. Okay, anyway, if we push 2 plus 5 and then the equal sign, what the? Oh, right. This is the web. I haven't recompiled. If we push 2 plus 5 and then the equal sign a bunch of times, we're going to keep adding 5 to the most recent summed value. Whew. Yeah, it fixed everything. All of my tests are now passing. And the one that we were focused on was fixing the pressing submit button multiple times. Gives us the correct answer. Hello, Thomas Elder. I see that is who you are. How are you doing? Unless your first name is Ian. Could be wrong, but that doesn't sound right. All right, so 1 plus 2 equals 3. If we equal again, it should be 2 plus 3 equals 5. 3 plus 2, put it in the right order. And then if I push equals again, then it should be 5 plus 3, which is 8. Oh man. Why is it plus 2? And why is this thing telling me that it's giving the right answer? It is not giving the right answer. 5 plus 2 equals, yeah, so let's do it in that order. 5 plus 2 equals 7. Plus 2 will be 9. Plus 2, did I actually put plus 2? I think I actually put plus 2 in the last one, 3 plus 2, because this is working the way we expect. This number is the one that's changing, and then this number. Again, this is the same behavior that you see in the Windows calculator. 5 plus 2 equals, and so on and so forth. So yay, it is working the way we expect. And then we do a multiply, and we get an answer. And then we do a minus. No, wait, I meant divide. No, wait, I meant plus. Yeah, and there's an issue. So we're going to write a test for that one and then get it to work. But yes, are you a .NET developer as well? Thomas, welcome in. So we are currently working on a stream project called the Financial Management Application, Financial Management Tracker, whatever. If you're interested in seeing it, you can hop on over to the GitHub project site. It is open source. I chose this project so that we can continue showing Blazor multi-platform, cross-platform development. It is my preferred ecosystem. Awesome. Mine too. You're very welcome here. In fact, If you like what you see and you want to talk with more like-minded people, or even people with differing opinions, we have a pretty diverse community. It's not super diverse. The majority of us are .NET developers, but we do have some JavaScript developers, PHP developers, other frameworks and other platforms and other technologies in our Discord, but a lot of us are .NET developers. Feel free to join our Discord if you want. No pressure. But this application is intended to be able to allow users to track their finances manually. Cool. Napalm says, I think of myself as a technology enthusiast with .NET Focus and AWS and Azure. I thought that about myself for a long time, and then I was like, you know what? I'm really only doing .NET development. Like, even the pursuits that I want to follow, like doing augmented reality development, are using .NET technologies. I'm not averse to using C++ or low-code, no-code solutions for AR, although I would prefer to write code. I still focus on everything using .NET. I might as well use the tooling you're comfortable with, especially if it does a really good job, in my opinion, of accomplishing the thing I'm setting out to do. Blazor has just been so good to me. I'm actually working a day job where I use Blazor in a desktop application on a daily basis, which I love. Okay, I'm going to check in these changes real quick. Implemented consecutive equal, consecutive submit logic, local commit. So the next test that I want to write was the one that I just showed you, which is where we do one operator, some other operator, submit or not, doesn't really matter. But the next thing that you do is choose an operator, but then choose a different operator, because you haven't input anything yet. It should only change the active operator. Have you spent any time working in a Maui project? So, since you've asked, here is the Maui version of the same web project. Set as startup. I don't even know if it's going to run in Android, but let's see if we can tell it to run in Android. The database isn't going to work, the database connection. But the application will run. Except my emulator can't be started. This one that I'm working here is intended to be cross-platform. You can run it in desktop, you can run it in web, you can run it in mobile. The UI is intended to be written using concepts that I have learned and am comfortable with and familiar with in web development. Okay, what do you say? Boy failed. I can't run the Android emulator. Tools, Android, SDK manager? No, device manager. Why can't you start? Is it because I have Hyper-V turned on? No, it ran. How confusing. Now, are you actually going to start? Sega. Hello, I'm here, just checking in. And this one is called the Android Emulator 31, which is what I'm targeting. We'll go ahead and rotate it. Once it's done booting up, is what I said. Okay. Come on. Is there a way for me to shut this down with the currently saved state so that I don't have to wait for the boot up next time? I'll get you next time, Gadget. While I'm waiting for that, I will go ahead and start on the test. Do I have a to-do for it? Pressing different operator buttons consecutively. Yeah, this is definitely the one I want to do next. It's going to be a theory. It will have inline data of, let's say, 1. Actually, I do want a, well, let's do it from scratch. 1 plus minus 3, and then the equal sign should give me -2. And then another one where we do maybe 1 plus 2 equals plus minus. That's not a good one. Actually, yeah, it is. No, it's not. Times plus 3 should give us 9. 6. I got this. I know how to do math. This is why I'm making a calculator. A what? A calculator. And the final formula should be 1 minus 3 equals, and the final formula here should be 3 plus, I don't want to make it the same number, 4 equals, yeah, and that should cover everything that needs to be covered. What happens when you push consecutive operators without having submitted? What happens if you put, oh, there may be one more. If you push consecutive operators after you've submitted the first one, and then what happens if you push consecutive operators without pushing submit in between the first operation and the next operation? So 1 plus 2 times plus 4 equals, and that's still going to be the same answer, which is going to be 3 plus 4 in the long run. And public void pressing consecutive, oh my goodness, operators. This works, apparently. We're going with works. Oh, Copilot. You're such a genius sometimes. So clever. Naming things is hard, so I'm just going to defer to Copilot to do that anyway. And it's just following the same pattern as everything else as it is. As you do. Okay, so if we ran this test, it should fail. I see a sideways emulator. Yeah, I'm going to push the play button after I'm done running this test. Naming and cache invalidation. Oh. And then Thomas Elder says, I made a couple of attempts at working with Maui, but all of my previous experience and knowledge was with Xamarin Forms for Android and the various desktop project types, no ASP.NET and Blazor knowledge. You don't have to know Blazor in order to be able to use Maui. And there we go. Ooh, it works after the equal sign. Or without pressing the equal sign once. Yeah, you don't have to know Blazor in order to use Maui. You can continue using your Xamarin approach-ish I mean, there are some differences, obviously, because you now are also targeting Windows and Mac. But it's still kind of like you have this interface that you're using as your control, and then it's like a stub, and then the platform that you're running on will give you the right control to put in place of that thing. But they have that common, here is the control that you use when you're talking about a MAUI button, when you're talking about a MAUI input or text or whatever. And then the platform will put in, here's what the Android button implementation is, and how it maps to your on click, and how it maps to your text, and how it maps to everything else. Okay, let's push the plus sign so we can see the MAUI app running in the Android emulator. Trying to convert a WinForms app. Oh, MAUI Blazor Hybrid is nice. Yeah, so I do absolutely love using Blazor with MAUI. MAUI Blazor Hybrid is nice, but you very quickly discover things you can't do in the browser, even though technically you're running on a phone. So I haven't tried too much with Android stuff, but for Windows, I've definitely had lots and lots of success. Ooh, cryptography didn't go so well. And then President Nasher says, got to use .NET 8 previews to do anything in MAUI right now. Really? I am using .NET 7 currently, and I haven't had too many issues with this app running in MAUI, other than build time. So I have the build turned off in the GitHub Actions. The thing that I don't know how to do, because I'm not knowledgeable about it, is which type of database do I use, or database connector do I use for the Android app to connect to my database. Yeah, my UI doesn't use any native XAML controls except for the Blazor web view, and everything else is done in the Blazor web view. Oh, come on. Rotate. Rotate. Okay, well, my emulator doesn't want to rotate my page for me. Whatever. You can see that the UI is still showing up just fine. How do I pinch? I don't know how to pinch. But my UI looks exactly the way that it does in the web application. My calculator should work. Oh, we don't need this breakpoint anymore at the moment. Thank you, though. Yep. So my calculator still works. Oh yeah, and then pressing another button after. That's a big one. Okay, anyway, you can see that everything should still function as expected. I'm gonna try to push this. This will try to talk to my database, but I don't think it's gonna work because the HTTP request on Android doesn't work the same way, I don't think. And my API isn't currently running. Not helpful. Excuse me. Wait, maybe it is. Developer PowerShell. Yeah, it is. Okay, so my API is running, and I still got some issues with trying to do a HTTP request to the API, which does a database lookup to give me values for example, my dropdowns or my transaction history. But I'll get that figured out. We will finish the MAUI project. Can I suspend you? Yes, thank you. Oh, yay. Didn't I get emulator name after starting ABD Android Emulator 31? Okay, but it still ran. I'm not angry. Okay, so we're currently on making these tests pass. Apparently, pressing the operator multiple times in a row. No, it doesn't. Let's do plus times because that's the one that will always end up actually times plus. That's the one that will always end up changing it to 0. Save. Can you repeat what you said you're having issues with? Can I? I don't think I can because I don't remember. Like the thing that we just wrote the test for? Yeah, this is just not implemented. It's not really an issue. It's just not implemented. So all of these things that I haven't written the test for. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. So for the Maui project, when I am targeting Android, the way that my UI does the queries for data is from a client side not running on the server, from the client side is a HTTP request to my API backend. My API backend does the lookups and all that stuff, sends back JSON, a JSON response, and my client will then take that JSON response, parse it to the correct objects, and then use it in my UI. So the queries that it should have done when I first came to this page is give me all of my drop-down list items, all of my payees, all of my line item types, all of my accounts, and anything that's needed for the transaction history grid, such as I don't really know what this thing uses outside of those. I don't think there is any. The deposit types. Yeah, deposit types would be the only other thing. And so when I run it in Android, those seem to fail. Either that or it tries to do it as if the Android one is running on the server and tries to do a direct service call, which it shouldn't, because I've configured the Maui project to use client services. So it works exactly like the WPF application, where my implementations of these services, like the lookup item service, as I mentioned, is a HTTP request to the API backend. And so, I know what it is. Or I think I know what it is. Sorry. I could be wrong about this, but I think it's because I don't know what address the application is running on Android, and my API uses cores, and I need to allow request from the Android URL. I think. So like the Maui app uses 0000. Not Maui, the WPF app uses 0000. So that one's easy. And I think in my API, I configured it to allow request from 0000. So I just need to find out what the Android app uses. And iOS and everything else. Yeah. So endless search is only showing local DB solutions with SQLite. And it's like, I don't want that. I want to communicate to my API endpoint and get back data that I'm going to display. You think it uses 02, but not HTTPS? You know what? I'm willing to try that real quick. And did you rebuild? Hot reload. That's not going to work with hot reload, dear sir or madam, because that happens on app start. Nice try though. And this is going to be the last thing that we do because I need to get back to work. Hello, Deflux. Many of the fantastic streams you've been having lately. I've been lurking on them. I haven't really been listening or paying attention, but trying to give you my viewership at least. And thank you so much for the follow. Oh, Thomas. Thomas Elder. Yeah, if you're enjoying the stream or our community, we got some pretty amazing people in here. We got Deflux. Shout out to Deflux Streams, who is doing a lot of stuff with Azure lately on his streams. He's been streaming more often, which is pretty awesome. At kind of strange times. I mean, you know, we have people that are watching from all over the... Why am I spazzing so much? Video. Anyway, we have people that watch from all over. Oh my gosh, that's distracting. That's only a little distracting. We get people that watch from all over the world, and so time zones is a thing. No matter when you stream, you're likely to find someone who wants to watch a .NET development stream. We also have other friendly members of our community. Which one of these is the one without the clip? I think it's this. Like Findle? Like Irish John Games? So many of them to shout out. So many amazing, wonderful people. I'm going to forget a whole bunch of people if I keep trying. So I'm just going to stop there and just let you meet them. But real quick, where's my AVD? 80M. Bit Gamey. Bardaki. Clayman. Simple Game Dev. Gamer Spirit. Game Spirit. Dragon Spirit Games. Oh my gosh, that was hard. If you can tell though, I really like watching game developers because I want to do, oh, Sebelix, that's a good one. I want to do Unity development for augmented reality, which Deflux is also doing a little bit of. He's been trying to work out the web view control in an augmented reality HoloLens MRTK 3 project, Unity project. We did a little bit of that on 2 Fridays ago stream. We went through a tutorial. Oh, come on, just do the thing. If it doesn't build, I'm gonna have to end the stream anyway, because I need to get back to work. But while I'm waiting for that to build, I will figure out who we will go see next. Where is my multi-stream? There you are. Good grief. Aw, I never get a chance to raid these guys back. There's a few people that I've been trying to raid back that have been so kind to me to raid us. So kind of looks like I'm not going to be able to do that. So I will raid someone else that I can raid back. Although I was trying to get a little iffy about that. Okay, it says it's deploying, which means it's going to run here soon. Unless it's said deploying for the last 12 minutes. In which case, soon is relative. I was alt-tabbing to look for... What was I alt-tabbing for? Does anyone remember? Okay, anyway, this is not going to run anytime soon. I was alt-tabbing to go to Discord to see who I have recently rated. I rated Solus Ellipsis. I rated Cetalix. I rated Irish John Games, Red Cabin Games, Dragon Spirit Games. Okay, so it has been a minute since I rated Big Gamey. Yes. Okay, so we have a raid target, and it ran. And so we're just going to hop on over to this other page real quick. Nope. Okay, so I don't really know how to see what the actual errors are. I don't know how to get to the development console or anything in the emulator, but I will eventually figure it out. Maybe in the output it would tell me some stuff too. Failed to connect to localhost 127.0.0.1. Or 7176. Oh, yeah. And that's my API endpoint. And it's coming from https://. So it's probably that the Android emulator cannot see my localhost port 7176. And I need to do something like tunneling in order for the emulator to know that that is a valid endpoint, valid address. Okay, but yes, raid target. We got a raid target. And I missed a whole bunch of chat because I was looking through that. So I'm going to go to this screen and I will say thank you all so much for being here today. We will finish out our next tests. Hopefully the remaining tests would be nice. Where we are trying to 1, 2, 7, where we're trying to press multiple operators in a row on our calculator and get that to work the way we're expecting it to. As stated earlier, not too long ago, I do post my VODs to YouTube no sooner than 24 hours after I end the stream, so look for that in the coming day or two, depending on if I remember to do it. And as always, feel free to join our Discord. We have some amazing, lovely, fantastic people there that are just so cool. I am so fortunate to have you as part of this community. I started the Bang raid. How about a slash raid? I started the raid to Big Gamey. So if you are interested in watching an amazing human being, even if you're not into game development, but if you... She does. If you're just into seeing someone that is just such a good person, and amazing persons, and amazing peoples, then stick around for the raid to Bit Gamey. We'll hang out, have a good time there. I'll be lurking mostly on his channel because I will be doing my day job as well as lurking on his channel. So until the next time, though, I will be back on Wednesday for another fun stream, hopefully fun stream. And until then, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your tomorrow as well. So, ciao for now. Cheers. Pies. Bacon. Syrup. Music.